Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Daily Compliance News for July 30, 2021, the Existential Rethink edition. And we begin with that story of Credit Suisse has published a 165-page report around its losses involving Archegos Capital Management and Greensill. The losses have caused over $10 billion in overall loss to the bank, and it prompted a, quote, existential rethink for the Swiss bank, which marries a giant wealth management business along with significant Wall Street presence serving corporations. Turns out that Credit Suisse knew Archegos Capital was a massive risk and didn't take actions to fix it. Moreover, internal controls were overridden by senior risk officers who are no longer with the company. The report from the law firm of Paul Weiss details a dysfunctional culture around protecting the bank from risk. The bank was focused on maximizing short-term profits and failed to rein in and indeed enabled voracious risk-taking. There were numerous warning signals that Archegos' positions posed potentially catastrophic risk to Credit Suisse, and unfortunately for Credit Suisse, it turned out to be true. Next up in an evolving story, literally all day, Robinhood went IPO with a share price beginning at 38 and then precipitously dropped almost a third down to nearly, or a quarter rather, down to nearly 30 at the end of trading. So for those who were interested in the IPO of Robinhood, today was your big day, but Robinhood did what they do to everyone. They screwed you. So welcome to Robinhood as a public company. Next up from Bloomberg, Nikola founder Trevor Milton now faces criminal charges for making false statements to investors in the electric vehicle startup. In order to drive demand for the stock, he lied in nearly every aspect of the business, according to the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Texas. There were misrepresentations around how the company was doing, the batteries that it was getting, how it was capitalized, and what its capabilities of actually producing a driving vehicle were. So lots of misrepresentations, and now it looks like Mr. Miller will have to pay the piper as this criminal complaint has now been filed. And we conclude with HSBC, which is facing questions over disclosure of alleged money laundering to its monitors. Turns out HSBC was knee-deep in the Gupta scandal in South Africa, having some 90 accounts related to the Guptas, and or 60 accounts opened by companies that were owned by or controlled by the Guptas, and this presented a serious money laundering risk, but HSBC never reported this to its monitor. This monitor was put in place in 2012. All of these happened in 2016 and 2017 when the monitorship still existed. It's unknown what the Department of Justice will do on this matter. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.